Okay, so I think I'll go ahead and get started here. Quick question, what does the diamond mean? The diamond means you're a VIP in the stream. You were one of my top donors for a long time, so I decided to acknowledge that as giving you a VIP. So basically, if I ever go into subscriber only or slow mode or some other kind of chat thing where there's restrictions, VIP members won't have any of those restrictions. I'm not sure if there's other if there's other benefits of being VIP. There might be some for other channels that just don't apply to Chess with Chris because I don't do stuff like that. But yeah, it's largely symbolic here, I think, because I don't have sub only mode or follower only mode or slow mode or anything like that. But yeah, I just thought it was fun. Twitch got that new feature a few weeks ago, so I added a bunch of my viewers as VIPs. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so I need to. For some reason, my chat's not going so well on my chatbot here. So I'm going to pop it out so that I can see everything. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why my. Oh, there it goes. Okay, wait. Maybe I don't need to do that. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with what I wanted to present here. I'm going to show you guys this first position. First of all, I'll tell you a little bit about this this book and this series of puzzles that I'm presenting. It's called Imagination in Chess, and this is the book. The first position is on the cover, is what we're going to be looking at first. But it's a cute little book. I think it's $10 on Amazon. The solutions are actually given in descriptive notation, so you have to know how to read that. It's not algebraic notation like most modern books these days. So it's an older book, but it's filled with puzzles that are really interesting. And yeah, I'll show the first one right now. So here we are. So it's a mate puzzle, and you're supposed to mate the black king in the center of the board. In all the puzzles, white is on the bottom going up. You can't really see the. I guess you can, right? Like down here, you can see A through H and then 1 through 8. So you can see that the white pawns would be going this way, but there are no white pawns. And this black pawn is going and attacking these squares. So, so this is the first chapter, the first puzzle in this series. There's only 3, or really 4 pieces, 4 white pieces to give checkmate. But it's really quite nice. I like this first one because it was so beautiful. And there's a couple of variations too, because there's multiple ways that black can respond to the first move. So I'll give that as a hint. But but beyond that, I'll try not to say too much. Squeaks, if you'd like to give a stab at this, or anybody else in chat. I did solve this myself already. The first 2 or 3, I believe, I've solved on my own. And I liked it so much, I decided to feature it on stream. The publisher of this book are not paying me or anything. I just like this book so much I had to share it. Anyway. So a good way to go about solving any sort of tactical puzzle like this is to look at all the checks and all the captures and all the threats that you can see in that order. So look at all the checks first, look at all the captures if the checks don't seem promising. But it's when you see the puzzle, when you see the solution, it's just gorgeous. I really love this. So I'll give it a couple more minutes. If no one gives a solution, I'll go ahead and give it away. But knight f3, I believe rook f3, and there's not much of a continuation there as far as giving checkmate. Yeah, knight f3 is a good check to look at first, but yeah, I think rook takes f3 leads to a position where it's much more difficult to give mate. Yeah, so I mean, the issue I'm seeing with that is just like knight f3, rook f3, queen f3, and then it's black's move, right? So black can do anything he wants to defend any threat you have. Yeah, so you want something a little bit more forcing than that. You're on the right track, though. The knight f3 check, right? That's one of the checks in the position. So if you're new, you're just joining us, this is a beautiful puzzle by C.D. Locock from his book Imagination in Chess. We're going over this. I'll be going over the first few of these in the beginning of the stream, and then we'll start to play some games later. But if you haven't seen this puzzle before, it's really beautiful and one that I recommend trying to solve. And as we've solved the first six of these have a common theme that you'll notice. Hopefully by the second or third one, which should make the rest of them, solving the rest of them, a little bit easier. Okay, so Squeaks, if you're still here, I would like to give you a hint. Instead of a knight check, look at a queen check. Which queen check might work out here? It's so beautiful. when you first figured this one out, it's just, I was astonished. Queen e2 check. Yeah, so I think the problem with queen e2 check is one of the knights could block on e3, and yeah, that causes white problems. I'll give you another hint. It's a mate in 2. Okay, so that should make it a little bit more clear. Because queen e2, knight e3, there's no mate. So this is a mate in 2 puzzle. If you'd like to give up, just tell me. Otherwise, I'll wait for some more guesses. I would rather have someone in chat solve it though, as opposed to just having me give it away. It took me, I don't know, it took me 5 or 10 minutes, I think, to get it. So maybe 5 minutes. I'm not sure. So it's not queen e2. There's a bunch of other queen checks, right? If we just look at them all, there's queen d4 check, there's queen e4 check, there's queen f6 check, there's queen e3 check, and queen e2 check. That's all of the queen checks, and one of those is the right answer. I'll just highlight all those squares. So those are all the possible queen checks, and I'm giving you a big hint that one of these is the correct answer for mate in 2. Yes, e4, queen e4 check. It's amazing. Queen e4, right in the middle of all the black pieces. Queen e4 check is the correct move. Okay, so there are 2 follow-ups, two legal black moves. If the rook takes, what's the mate? So there's two options here: rook takes and king takes for black, and white has mate in 1 in both of those positions. So yeah, right, knight to d3. So if rook takes, then it's knight to d3. That's a beautiful mate, because, and I like to consider beauty in checkmatings is the fact that all of the white pieces are not overlapping each other, right? So the rook is doing a great job of these covering these 3 squares, and the knight is covering these 2 squares, and there's no other squares that need to be, there's no other squares that need to be covered, and they're all only covering one of those squares, and the same goes for the other option. If king takes queen, then we have another checkmate, which is just as beautiful, because the white pieces for me are, they are not overlapping in the sense that they're not like how do I want to say that? There's no overlapping attacking squares. Yeah, if the rook takes, knight to d3 is the answer. And now here we have rook e6. Yep. Good job. So rook e6 is mate. And again, the rook does a nice job of hitting these 3 squares, and the knight gets these 2 squares, and there's no overlap, and the king is checkmated. It's just gorgeous. This position right here is what was like, when I saw this in my head, solving this position for the first time, I was just like, holy crap, this is insane. I've never seen anything like this, and it made me want to read the entire book all the way through in one night, but of course I had real stuff to do. Life got in the way. I couldn't do that. But yeah, I'm definitely going to stream a bunch of these puzzles. All right, so let's move on. This is a beautiful puzzle. Again, here's a starting position. The solution is queen e4. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so chapter 2. It's similar in the sense that you're mating the king in the middle of the board. And the first move is a check. Now, for me, this one was actually a little bit more difficult to see or to find because of the way that there's fewer black pieces contributing to the checkmate. Because in the last position, there were 4 black pieces surrounding the king, meaning that the king could not go to those squares, right? Whereas here, there's more squares, there's more options for the black king, so you have to be a little bit more... You have to visualize more squares being attacked by the white pieces as opposed to just, options that he doesn't have. Nirvana Raymond, hey, or Nirvana Raymond. How's it going, man? Long time watcher of the Chess with Chris channel. We're going over some puzzles now. Yes, it is a puzzle. And yeah, feel free to attempt to solve it in chat. This is another one that I thought was really beautiful. Again, it's got that same thing where the checkmate, the white and black, the white pieces delivering the checkmate don't overlap each other at all in the squares that they attack. So it's a very efficient checkmate, and a beautiful one at that. And just like the last puzzle, there's more than one line to consider after the correct first move. So there's a couple of different black replies, and there's checkmate in both of those situations, or in all of those situations, I should say. Yes, Nirvana Raymond, it is mate in 2. I didn't want to give that hint right away, but yeah, it is mate in 2. I'm not sure if all of these that I'm going to be looking at are mate in 2s or not. Let me just double check that. Let's just go through the book here really quick. Let's see, and I pulled in the first 8 puzzles, I believe. Oh, 9. First 9 puzzles. Okay, the 7th one doesn't give how many moves. Yeah, the 8th and 9th don't give how many moves. So the first 6 are mate in 2. And if we get to the 7th, 8th, or 9th, it's unclear how many moves it will take. So yeah, the first 6 here, we're on the second of 9 here. So one thing I noticed when I was looking and examining this puzzle is that the knight does a great job of covering out a lot of the dark squares, and so does the king. So the dark squares are kind of covered, and then you have a light square bishop and a pawn and a queen that could probably work to cover the light squares. So Zeitgeist movement suggests queen d5. It's a surprising move. Swaggout says knight f4. By the way, hi Hi, Sweat God. So on knight f4, I'm not sure what your idea is. The king can just take it, or the pawn can just take it. But Zeitgeist suggests queen d5, which I'd like to hear about the follow-ups to that, Zeitgeist. What do we do when the king takes? Yeah, Nirvan Raymond, queen d5, he might be onto something. If the king takes, then what? Yes, bishop b7. All right. So then, explain to me why doesn't queen c6 work instead of queen d5? How are those two moves different? Because there's another move that black can make other than taking the queen. After queen d5, the king has one other option, right? Queen c6, king f5, right? That's the only other legal move. So after queen d5, king f5, yeah. So here there must be a mate in 1, right? Because there's a mate in 2 problem. Assuming that queen d5 is the right answer. So there's a mate in 1 here. Hey, Swag God. Hope everyone's having a good Christmas Eve. I know I am. Just gonna set these up on my chessboard. All right, man. The pawn is pinned. Yes, Nirvan Raymond, that's the difference between queen c5, or sorry, queen c6 and queen d5. And that's why queen d5 is necessary, because queen c6 forces king f5, right? But the pawn's not pinned. Yeah, very good. Very good. Yep. So queen c6 check, king f5. Someone still no one is given, yeah, bishop d3. So bishop d3 is checkmate. Only if the queen is here, pinning the pawn to the king. Otherwise, with the king up here, with the queen up here and the king this way, bishop here, there's pawn blocks. So it wouldn't be mate. I mean, it would be mate in just one more move. But yeah, we want mate in 2, not mate in 3. That's very nice. Very nicely done, Nirvan Raymond. Nirvan Raymond and Zeitgeist Movement work together to solve that one. All right. Okay, Swag God, starting a new puzzle. Get out your chessboard for chapter 3. By the way, if you want to just let's see. I think do I still have the study command? Oh, it looks like I don't. If you go on leechess.org and search for studies that are authored by me, Chess with Chris, you'll be able to find a study called Imagination, and that's where I'm drawing this from. Okay, so this is one I actually haven't solved myself yet. Yeah, I haven't solved this one yet, so I actually need to look at this for myself. Or maybe I did, but I forgot the solution already. So it's another mate in 2 puzzle, this one. Ron Raymond's already got it. I haven't gotten it yet. Okay, I'm seeing one of the mates. I'm not sure what to do with the king doesn't take. Give me 1 second. I want to solve this for myself too. I'm being selfish here. I'm not even going to read the chat until I see this. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So Nirvan Raymond, I saw that actually. Yeah, I saw that one. What I didn't see was, the king has two other options other than taking the queen. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing one of them. And what's the other one? So after queen d5, king f6, there's rook h6 mate. And after queen d5, king f4, I guess queen d4, queen takes d4 is mate. Is that right? Yeah, because the knight holds one square and the pawn holds the other. Oh wow, that's nice. Yeah, so we both got it. All right, so let's put all those lines on the board. So queen d5. So the obvious one to look at first is if the king takes. You go here. And the knight here is mate. The knight does a good job of holding these squares. The rook is holding these squares. The king is holding this square, and the bishop is holding this square. It's checkmate. King also guards the knight. That's important. It's so efficient. All this puzzles so far have been so efficient in their checkmates because none of the pieces overlap. I mean, this square is overlapped, with the rook and the bishop, but that's not important because the king can't go there. All right, so then if he doesn't take the queen, let's just show these really quick. So king here, it's nice to know that the knight and the queen coordinate nicely, actually, to cut off this entire first rank. Or sorry, the seventh rank up here. And so the queen is holding this and the pawn is holding this. So all we have to do is give a checkmate by covering all these squares, which with the rook. So this isn't quite as efficient, right, because the queen and the rook are both hitting this square. But it's close. And then we come back here. And then queen here is mate. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. So the pawn is covering this square, the knight is covering this square, the bishop are covering these two squares, and the queen's got all of this. Wow. And checkmating in the center of the board is always tricky. And you might say to yourself, this is not very useful, right? Because I'm never going to get a position like this in a real game, and that's not really the point. Yeah, that's not really the point because we're never going to see this puzzle in real life, right? Like the starting position, this is never going to happen in real life. The point is not to find, familiarize yourself with positions that you're going to find in a real game. The point is to learn to use the pieces in concert. Yeah, Swag God. So when you get this concept of like overlap and seeing the pieces work together in harmony, like in your head, that's so beneficial. When you're trying to checkmate an opponent with multiple pieces, like generally it takes 3 or 4 pieces in order to checkmate the king. I mean, you can do it with 2 in a lot of cases too, but pieces have to work together in order to deliver checkmate. I mean, that's just a given, right? Even the queen needs the king's help in the endgame. If it's just king queen versus king. So the value to me in doing these puzzles is utilizing your calculation ability to visualize the board and all the squares that are attacked and to see how the pieces are working together. It's just amazing. Okay, so let's go into chapter 4. All right. So white has a bishop pair, a knight, queen, and a pawn. Oh, I did solve this one. Yeah, I remember this one now. Yeah, I solved this one. I must have forgotten the solution to the third one, but I remember the solution to the fourth one. This is the fourth one, yeah. It's another really efficient one if he takes... So c5 is over here. That's illegal. These are all from white's perspective. Maybe you're counting from this way, c5. But yeah, no, this would be f4, this square. Yeah. It is difficult to understand. All of these puzzles are going to be from white's perspective, right? So this will always be the first rank. This will always be the 8th rank, A and H. Yeah. So queen f5. But there's two follow-ups. You gotta give two different follow-up solutions. So there's king takes queen. I mean, the king can't go anywhere. But there's two pieces that can take the queen, and the solution is different. So queen f4. Yep. If king f4, bishop d6. Very good. And if knight f4, what then? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I'll show that now. Nice job, Nebron. Okay, so queen f4 check. What happened to the music? Looks like it just ended or something. Go to the next one. By the way, song request is on. It's not in the title, but I think you guys can just remember that from now on. Chess with Chris always has song request. I'm just gonna always have it by default now. Yeah. So queen f4 here, and if the king takes, then this bishop gives checkmate. And again, it's very efficient, right? The knight covers these squares, the bishop covers these squares, the pawn and the king work together to cover one square piece, and it's checkmate. So knight c4, after this maybe? Is that what you're thinking? Unfortunately, after knight c4, king here. So the knight has to cover both of these squares. Like after the knight takes, or maybe you're thinking after, yeah, after the knight takes, if knight c4 here, the king has this square. So the knight has to go to f3 and cover both of these squares. And again, it's very efficient. Knight f3, the bishop's covering this. Sorry, the dark square bishop's covering these two squares, the light square bishop's covering these two squares, and the knight is covering these two squares. And it's checkmate. No overlap. That's really pretty. And I'll show you both of these mates. Yeah. So here, the important thing to understand, the knight is covering the light squares, bishop's covering the dark squares, and the king and pawn are working together over here. Quite nice, quite nice. All right. So here's a fifth one. This one I'm positive I have not solved yet. You were in Cleveland yesterday. Wow. Who played yesterday? Was it a Browns game? Yeah, I don't follow sports hardly at all. All right, this one looks more tricky. What do you mean black pieces too? You mean material is almost equal? I mean, we're a rook up here, but Is this supposed to be a mate in two? I'm just trying to make sure I got this right. I'm questioning my own ability to solve this right now. Number 5, white mates in two. Yeah. It's right according to the book. Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, white, instead of white being up a million pieces, yeah, he's only up a rook here. Rook on a couple of pawns. We're still mating in the center of the board. It's white to move, Salty Clown. White to move and mate in 2. So this is a book from, all these puzzles are from a book called Imagination in Chess by C.D. Lecoq. So I've pulled in the first like 9 puzzles from this book to show you guys. I may come back with more of these in the future. The first 6 are kind of odd because we're mating in the center of the board, and it's just really weird. But after the first 6, you'll get more realistic light type positions. Starting from chapter 7 onward, it'll be much more realistic positions where it looks like we're attacking a castled king. Yeah, this is a mate in 2. Yeah, the whole book is mate in whatever. He doesn't give you hints in all the puzzles as to how many moves it is, but this one says mate in 2. Oh. Oh, that's tricky. Oh man, this one is nice. I just solved it. Nirvana Raymond, have you gotten it yet? Man, all of these are so nice. I really like this this problem composer. So yeah, so the author says in the introduction of this book that the idea is to teach you how to attack the castled king, because most of the problems, you know, after the first 6, are designed to look like you're attacking a king either in the center of the board, like as if he has not castled, or as if he has castled on one side or the other. So it's about, you know, how to attack the king or whatever. But the first 6 are just, you know, just for fun. Can't find it. Bishop f6 looks strong though. Bishop f6. Maybe you mean g6. Oh, g6. Yeah, the bishop can go to e6 or g6. g6 is check. That's a good candidate move, right? Because it's check. Yeah, unfortunately, the knight can take it, which means we don't have mate next move. I think for me, an important thing to understand about this position was, you know, the pawns and the king are here for a reason, right? The king and the pawns, they all cover these squares on purpose. So it's up to us just to make sure that all of these squares are covered. Knight g6, queen d5. Yeah, queen d5 is covered by the queen, right? I mean, unless you're saying that the queen, like if the knight takes and the queen is pinned. Oh, hey, Sonic Castle. We're just doing some puzzles here. Yeah, if the queen is pinned, then that's true. But actually, the king can escape this way, right? So bishop here, knight takes, queen here, king here. Queen d5 check, and rook takes c5 is also made at the end of the line. So it doesn't matter which one after bishop g6. So if you start with the bishop check, so bishop takes, knight takes, queen d5 is not mate. There's king f5. Sonic Castle, we're doing a bunch of puzzles from this book right now. But feel free to message me with any puzzles you like, and maybe I'll include those in a future stream. And I remember someone suggested earlier that they had a collection, a study. Yeah, Nirvana Raymond, you have a study with the cool puzzles. Send me a link to that as well, and I'll consider that for another stream. as well. I feel like the only reason I solved this one as fast as I did is because I realized what the first 6 puzzles have in common. We've already yes, Saltigo, it's white to move and mate in 2. It's not made if bishop f6, knight cg6, queen d5. No, queen d5 is not mate. There's king f5. Salty Clown, after queen d5, there's king f5. The queen is still on d5, so we're not covering f5. We're not covering the f5 square in that variation. Bishop here, knight here, queen here, king here. So as I was saying, the only reason I think I solved this one so quickly is because I realized what the first 6 moves, what the first 6 puzzles have in common. If you remember the first 4, if you were here for the first 4, so Naran Raymond is suggesting queen d5 first. It's interesting. So what's your continuation after say knight takes? Yeah, Swag God. You mentioned it, right? So they all involve queen sacks. So queen d5 is a queen sack, but let's see if it works. Yeah, so all the first 6 puzzles all have in common the fact that they're giving away the queen on the first move. So queen d5 does that successfully, right? Because the knight can take it. But is there a checkmate there? I don't see it. Naran Raymond, queen d4, and after king takes, what then? Queen d4, king takes, and then what? And then you also have to calculate queen takes. Yeah, rook c4 is made after king takes, and then after queen takes. Bishop g6. Very well done. Yeah, that's actually that's tricky to see, right? Because the rook is pinning the knight to the king after the queen moves. For me, that was the hardest part. I saw queen here, king takes rook immediately, but then after queen takes, I was like, where's the mate? But yeah, bishop g6 is actually giving checkmate because the knight can't take it. It's pinned to the king. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. Yeah, so queen here. This is the solution. Queen d4, Naran Raymond found it. Queen d4 check. And after king takes, there's this nice rook c4 mate, which is beautiful. And again, it's very efficient. I've used that word quite a bit, but and what I mean by that is that the rook is covering all of these squares, the bishop is covering this square, and the pawn is covering this square, and there's no overlap, right? Like no 2 white pieces are covering the same squares. Okay, and then instead, after queen takes, the knight's pinned, so we can give this check, and it's mate. The king, the rook is covering this one. This has the overlap that I was talking about, where both the rook and the bishop are covering this square. But you can see all these squares are covered now by the white pieces. Yeah, it's a beautiful puzzle. Yeah, Salty Clown. I am using that feature on Twitch called what's it called? Reduced lag or whatever. Yeah, if you refresh, that tends to help, unless you just live like on the other side of the planet, right? And then you're just gonna have it a few seconds later than everybody else, just because of Also, I found that being on a mobile browser, not a mobile browser, but like using the app, the Twitch app for iOS or the Twitch app for Android somehow introduces a lot more lag than just being on a computer. So. Okay, so moving on, we'll do the last one of the ones that have the one thing in common that that Swag God mentioned. All right. Oh, did I solve this one? I might have solved this one already. Yeah, I think I did. Is there another move? Yeah, there is. Wait a minute. BJ7 Pro with the host. Thanks very much. Am I gonna get a notification about that? What's going on? Huh, that's funny. Hey, thanks, Saltigo. All right. So Queen D4, King D4, Knight F3. Yeah, yeah, that's one solution. But the thing is, he doesn't have to take the queen, right? So I'm gonna try to find all the ones without taking the queen. Or we're taking the queen the other way, right? Because you can go pawn takes. Okay, after pawn takes, there's knight c4. Knight c4 is mate. And if king runs up to d6, what then? He's got so many squares up there. King d6, queen f4. Ah, very nice. Yeah, that was a fast one actually. Yeah. So Naran Raymond has already given the solution in chat, but if you want to give it another minute to solve it yourself, feel free. But yeah, so we've gotten the gist of what the first 6 entail. We're always giving away our queen, so it's made the first 6 much easier once you realize that you're trying to sack your queen every puzzle. So the solution that he gave is queen d4, and if the king takes, yeah, knight here is mate. It's quite nice. Yeah, right. Just hang your queen and everything will work out. With these puzzles anyway. And then if the king doesn't take, he has a couple options. He's got pawn here, but then knight here is mate. Quite nicely. And if king up, then queen here is mate. Wow. So there's 3 variations to calculate here, but yeah, they all work out after queen c4. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to go into the ones that actually look more realistic. The king's not in the center of the board. He's covered by his own pawns and stuff like that. All right, so we'll go to chapter 7 here. And this looks like a normal position where you might want to attack the enemy king, right? Now, it's not totally realistic, right? Because, the material, where did all the material go, right? There's a whole bunch of black pawns and white pawns missing, But if you could make this position look like a real position in a normal game just by adding some random pieces on there. So yeah, Naran Rim is saying queen h5 into the queen sack. Swag God. Queen h5 does look promising. Yeah, this one was relatively simple, I think. Yeah, the bishops are very strong here. So queen h5, threatening queen h7 mate. There's no way to really defend that mate other than taking the queen. So you have to take the queen here, and bishop h7 is mate. It's pretty. And I promise they're not all going to be queen sacks. But yeah, queen h5 is, it's unstoppable. There's no checks, which is nice because this isn't check, right? This first move is not check, but the queen can't get here or here or anything to get check to the white king. Even rook takes here doesn't work, right? Because it doesn't defend the h7 mate that's threatened. But yeah, just to give the threat, I'll show that. Nice. Okay, so we'll move on. That was quick. Chapter 8. Yeah, and I remember solving this one as well. This one's a little bit trickier than number 7. Here we actually material down. We only have a bishop, or sorry, a knight and a. We have a knight and a rook for a queen and a pawn. Yeah, nice. And it's interesting because there's no other lines to calculate, right? There's only the one forced line that you've given in chat, Nirvan Raymond. So yeah, rook c7 is the solution. Black is forced to capture the rook. There's no other move. The king can't go anywhere, and only one piece can capture. Knight c7, bishop c7, and then knight a7 is mate. It's really pretty because the whole point about like for me, the whole point of both of those moves was like the bishop controlling this square, right? So the bishop needed to control this square in order to give checkmate. So in order to do that, we had to move both of these pieces. It's really pretty. Because if the knight just checks, the king runs away, right? So you start with the rook check first. Of course, actually, you know, if the knight check first, then we just take the bishop, right? Or you take the knight. But anyway, what I was trying to say, you know, the bishop guarding here is critical. So king. It's really beautiful. And again, it's very efficient. All these squares are only attacked by one piece, one of the white pieces. It's quite nice. Okay, so the last one for today, and then we'll play some games. So here we go. I don't believe I've solved this one. Did I? Oh, I did actually. Yeah, I did solve this. I've looked at more of these than I expected. I haven't been able to put this book down since I got it in the mail recently. When I've had a few moments. Nirvan, you're going so quickly. No one else can keep up. So Swaggart is suggesting knight f6. Unfortunately, that doesn't quite work because after black. So remember, these are mate. Knight f6, rook h8. Yeah, but the knight can take, and then rook h8, the king can take, right? So the bishop is being interrupted by the knight f6. So Sonic Castle is putting some Fen notation for the puzzle. Yeah, that might work actually. Let me see if I can import that later. As soon as we get this one done. So Nirvan Raymond suggested rook g6. So rook g6 is nice because it only has one. There's only one legal reply, right? So pawn there, and then there's two double checks to consider, but only one of them is mate. Yeah. So rook g6, pawn takes g6, and then knight here is a double check and mate because the bishop still controls h8. Whereas knight f6 interrupts the bishop's control of h8. Yeah, knight e7. So here, and then knight e7. Checkmate. This pattern with the bishops is really useful to remember against the enemy king. You know, where there's a black piece, like imagine if there's a pawn here, it would work the same way. You see this a lot, actually. So as long as there's a black piece here and a black piece there, the two bishops can give checkmate all by themselves. Like imagine if this bishop was here and then there wasn't even a knight. Actually, he could block here, but anyway, you get the idea. Normally, these bishops here next to each other against the king are really strong. So that's really nice. I'll show it again. Solution is rook g6 check. And just to go through Swaggart, knight f6. So you had a nice idea. Unfortunately, the bishop is interrupted and h8 is no longer controlled. So, yeah, the solution was similar to that, but I mean, controlling h8 with the bishop is the key. If only we had two moves in a row, we could take here and then go here right afterwards. But it doesn't quite work that way. You know, your opponent can give check and take the rook and stuff like that. So, all right. So yeah, nice solving, Nirvan Raymond. Okay, so I have a challenge here from I think it was a viewer, Danielle4642. Is that someone in chat? Is that someone who's watching? Say hi in chat if that's you. We can play a game. Otherwise, maybe someone else wants to challenge me. Let me know who you are. We can do that. Oh, actually, let's see if I can import this puzzle from Sonic Castle. So tools, analysis board, board editor. All right, let's go and do this so you guys can see. So how do I fen? Yeah, I think I can just type this. Beautiful. So I assume this is white to play. White's not in check or anything. Neither is black. This must be white to play. All right, so let's go analysis. All right, so this is the puzzle linked by Sonic Castle. I believe I've seen this before, but I don't remember the solution right offhand. Is this, so it's white to play in mate in 4. Okay. Nirvana Raymond says he challenged a bullet. Yeah, I'm not big into bullet, man. I mean maybe 2+1, but yeah, not 1.0. Certainly not on stream. I do play the occasional 1.0 game or 2.1 game off stream, but on stream I like to be able to talk about the game and stuff like that. All right, so I'm getting some challenges. I'll get to the challenges as soon as we finish this puzzle. So it's white to play in mate in 4. Seems like it would be a long time to get the queen around. So yeah, I am a fan of the Feingold lectures. So maybe if this is something that he's that he's mentioned. Well, what if we 1, 2, 3? That would be 3 moves. Black is about to make a bunch of queens. But the black king is stalemated. I kind of want to just move my bishop back somewhere and then just like promote, move the pawn to give mate on b7 with my pawn. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Swag God. But let's look at like what black does. Like black gets a queen and maybe even takes the pawn. So like here he gets a queen, moves up and then takes the pawn. That doesn't work. Because the bishop takes back and then maybe he makes another queen. Like it's too slow, right? There are no checks in the position at all. Bum bum ba da. So maybe if you take the rook and he takes back and then promotes, then maybe this idea. No, because you can still go here and take the pawn. Huh. I remember the solution to this being really surprising. I don't. It's escaping me right now, though. Does anyone else see this? Has anyone else seen this? I wonder if it's like a knight tour, where the knight like has to end up on this square. The knight can get there in actually like 1, 2, 3 moves. So like knight here to there to there, but that actually you can give check. Takes, and then maybe the knight here, but then queen takes. Like, let's look at a solid variation. So like knight here, pawn up, knight here, check, takes, or block the check, takes the knight, done. There's no mate. That's rough because as soon as you move the knight, black can get the check on this file. 96 and c7. Yeah. That's sort of what I was looking at. I was looking at here. But yeah, you could also go this way. I mean, it is a mate in 4 puzzle, so. Oh, what if you play queen c1 blocking first? Would that work? If you play queen c1 blocking and then the pawn taking, making a queen, you wouldn't be able to give check fast enough, right? So queen c1 takes, knight here, queen goes anywhere. Oh, queen here would actually, that would be bad. Or you could play the knight move first, and then after they promote, then you go here. They take, and then you go here, and then they can't give check, and go and you do that. All right, well, let's look at a different black second move. So knight here. The other plays t8. What's the difference? Bishop d4, knight e1, d3, f2. Yeah. So we can do this. Oh, so you're saying in the other line where the queen pinned. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you go knight e1 first, and then pawn, and then here, and then pawn. But you still have the issue of the queen going here. So that's why I like queen c1. So knight e1, pawn up. Knight d1, and then knight e3. Oh no, not knight d3. You go queen c1. And this say he takes and makes a queen. Then you go knight here. And there's no way of stopping this. Yes? Yeah, c7. All right, so this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to actually put it on the board because I think I've solved this. So knight here. Like, I'm sure there's lots of moves here to consider, actually. But I think this one's critical because like we want to give check with the black queen. So you go here. But then you go here blocking. So now they make a queen. And you go here. And you're threatening mate. And there's nothing black can do. I mean, all I really want to do now is check that other moves, you know, don't make a difference, right? So, like, if you take the queen, and then go knight here, like, none of these queens can actually deal with this. So you make a queen, and there's still mate. So you make a queen here, still mate. There's nothing black can do. But after c2, you can't just do this, right, because of the check. So you have to play queen c1. Takes, makes a queen, go here, nothing black can do, mate. Yeah, I think that's it. There's a better second move for black. So Sonic Castle is suggesting that c2 is not the best second move. There's something better than c2? What happened to my water? Oh, jeez. Guys, look at this for 1 second. I need to go get my water. I do want to be able to talk this week later. So I do need to stay hydrated. I'll be on a quick break. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so after knight d8, we're trying to find a better plan for black to defend against this. So c2 is right. Oh, you're saying a better second move. Okay, so then the knight here. Oh, wait. And then queen here. Okay, so the second move I looked at was b takes c1 equals queen. But Sonic Castle is suggesting there's something better here. So maybe make a queen this way? But that doesn't help. You go here. Queen still can't do anything. After queen c1, there's a better move for black instead of bishop takes c1. Instead of b takes c1. Yeah, so this is where I'm confused. So I guess the idea is to prevent knight e6 or something, right? Try to stalemate. Oh, a stalemate trick. Huh. How would you do that? I mean, there's so many moves. A stalemate puzzle. You're evil. Oh my god. So how would black stalemate here? I mean, there's too many pieces, right? Like, Yeah, Sonic Castle, I'm not getting it. Usually with a stalemate, the idea is to just like put your stuff where white can take them or where he has to take them. But I don't have to do anything. Like you just make moves and it doesn't even matter. Like there's too many things. Like whatever you promote here can always move. And this pawn can always promote. Like black has 3. Well, he has more than 3 moves, but I mean, he has takes, he has promotes to 4 different things, and he has rook here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Promote to a bishop. Oh, a bishop can't move. Oh, that's right. If you promote to a bishop, you can't move. Oh, oh man, promoting to a bishop, Mozart. Very nice. Okay, so promoting to a bishop, I think you have to take the pawn, right? You have to like take here so that this bishop can move. And then you play knight here and there. So you take here, take, and then go here. But that's not mate in 4 anymore. You're still saying it's mate in 4 even after it promotes to a bishop. What? Well now, no. If you try to mate with the queen, he makes a queen and then gives check. Oh, this puzzle is insane. So what now? So Alt F4 Pro, after I make a bishop on B1, now I see the point, right? Because if knight here, it's stalemate. So maybe queen c1 is not right? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Queen c1 is not the best move? Still have to promote. One piece is the right goal, but on the wrong way. So knight d, yeah, maybe knight d8 isn't ideal here. So I was thinking here earlier. Does that make a difference if the knight can take here, for example? And why would the knight want to go back that way? Okay, hang on. So what if we go knight here? Pawn up, queen here. Make a bishop. So we've only made 2 moves. We take here. 3 moves. No, that's 4 moves. Oh, shoot. I was thinking after you take here, the rook moves, and then you go queen here, mate. But that's 5 moves. So how else can we get to c2? So the knight was here. So there's like several tours that end up on c7. So there's this way. Oops. Here, here, and then here. There's here, here, and here. And there's here, here with the same move. Am I missing any? Oh, there's here as well. That's a lot of knight tours and too many green arrows. That's really confusing. I'm not sure why one of these would make a difference. Queen e7 after the bishop promotion. He can promote and pull the queen back. Yeah, but c1 equals queen is check, Bertrand, right? So that would be a struggle. I do remember this from Feingold's stream. I just don't from one of his lectures. I'm trying to understand why one of these knight moves would be different than the rest as far as getting towards e7. Sonic House says basically we need the right way for the knight so black can still move after the bishop promotion. Oh. Huh. Wow, this is difficult. This is difficult. Because the basic goal is simple enough. It's just like black has some devious stuff to get past us. Bertrand, why does it have to be a knight move? Because we're trying to deliver checkmate on c7. Like it takes 3 moves for the knight to get to. Sorry, it takes 3 moves for the knight to get to c7 to deliver checkmate. What about bishop f2? Bishop f2 does what? Like we're trying to checkmate, right? Bishop f2. Well, f2 is back here. I think you mean here, right? c7. Threatens b6 and b7 mate. Oh, yeah, we did look at that, actually. Bishop f2, you can make a queen and take the pawn, right? So that's why I gave up on moving the pawn forward, because you can always just, like, come back. I feel like we're so close with this idea of queen c1, blocking the queen from promoting, giving check. I just don't understand. Let's look at this position here where they made a bishop. And try to imagine the knight on a different square. Where's that line? Yeah, here. So where else could the knight be where we could give black a move? Where else could the knight be? So the knight could be on any one of these squares. Here, here, here. Oh, no, not this one. This one doesn't have a fast enough path to e7. Or sorry, c7. So any one of these 4 squares is an option for the knight. And this one doesn't work for the same reason this one doesn't work. Knight on b4 could play to d3. So d3, e takes d3. How does that help us? And then oh, Queen H1. Wow. Nicely done, Alt F4 Pro. Oh, that's pretty. Look at this. Okay, so let's go back to the right first move. So knight here. And then black's, let's see, black's next move would be like C2. So I'm going to promote this line because this is obviously promote, make the main line. Yeah. So knight b4, c2, and we're going to stop c1 equals queen. So we play queen c1. And then there's a stalemating idea with a bishop here. And we give black a move, knight d3. And after e takes d3, there's queen h1 mate. Wow. You also saw the final. Yeah, your memory is just better than mine, Alt F4 Pro. Oh, that's so nice. That is so super nice. I don't remember how long ago I saw this puzzle. It might have been last year. Or just like really early this year. Quite nice, quite nice. Sonic Castle with an emote here. I'm not really getting what emote that is. Looks like a piece of gold. All right. I'm glad I at least saw the idea of Queen C1. But I did not see the fact that he can promote to a bishop to start with the whole stalemate stuff. So yeah, that makes things really difficult and really makes the choice of the knight moves pretty stark. You know, pretty obvious. Not obvious, but pretty clear, like that you have to choose before. It's quite nice. Yeah, Mozart, yeah, I'm not sure either. Because you know, promoting to a bishop and all that kind of stuff is crazy. But yeah, all right. In classical chess, you know, the ideas could come up. Okay, so I still only have the one challenge from Danielle. Did I miss who Danielle was in the chat? Did they say hi or? Yeah, I don't know. If anyone else wants to send me a challenge, feel free. Try to make it 10 minutes or more. Looking to play a longer game for sure. Or else, you know, if you guys want, I could actually set up another puzzle position from this book. We could continue forward with attacking the Castle King. So yeah, it's your call. If you guys want to play, or if you guys want to see another one of these puzzles that we were doing earlier. Not this one. Like this one was from Sonic Castle. The ones I was doing earlier were a little bit more, probably a little bit more valuable in terms of learning to attack the Castle King. But yeah, what do you guys think? Okay, yeah, let's continue with the puzzles then. All right, so if I go back to my study, show you guys how to get here. So we get to study, and then I think if you click Owner Chess with Chris, like this is a way for you to search for all of my stuff. Click the magnifying glass. You'll see all of my studies, and the last one here is imagination. This is the one we're going to be working on. So I'll start with chapter 10 now. I'm going to add a new position, empty board. I'm just going to grab it from the book here. I did the first 9 before the stream started, so you guys didn't have to watch this, but I guess we'll deal with it. All right, so number 10. I'll start with the black pieces. There's a black king here. There's a couple of rooks here and here. There's one bishop here. There's 3 pawns. All right, white has a couple of bishops. This king is here. And there's a couple of rooks. All right, so here we are. This is the 10th puzzle. Just want to verify this is right. Yeah. Okay. Let's make this big for you guys. So this is a little bit more practical of a puzzle, I think. So I think I've solved it. I'm not seeing any checks or anything that interrupt my plan as white. Wow, Mozart, that was fast. Hey, Fonza, how's it going? Did you change your name back? That's funny. Like, I saw your name in another stream saying that you followed them. Are you done with the Serbia thing? Oh, wow. Okay. So what happened with the Chessbotsers? They didn't like you after all, or I don't understand that. You shouldn't change your name, man. But I'm happy you're back to the old one. Because Chesscast has a very small value. Oh, no, I see. Okay. You thought it had more of a value than it did. All right, man. Well, okay. So yeah, we're doing some puzzles here, and I think someone has already... Yeah, Mozart. Rum and Coke. Yeah, no. Yeah, if I drink on stream, you guys are going to be seeing some really, really bad chess. In fact, I had the opportunity to have a couple beers earlier today, and I turned it down. I told them I would drink after the stream. So yeah, after the stream today, I'm gonna get a couple of beers and have some fun. But no, this is, as always, I just drink iced coffee on stream. Iced coffee, and then I have my water here. So okay, yeah. So Mozart has already given the solution here. So I'm pretty sure, I haven't checked it in the book or anything, but yeah, this looks right to me. You go rook takes. This pawn is pinned, right? So he has to go h takes, and that opens up the h file for the rook. So now bishop here, and there's no checks. There's anything to do with stopping rook h8. So rook h8 is the threat, and it doesn't matter what black does. Just go here. You can take the bishop, and it's mate. Nice. Nice. So Fonza says, just with Chris, how funny was yesterday? I gave a song to streamer Pepilo, and he sang one verse from the song. The song was Spanish and a little bit in English. Oh, wow. Yeah, you'll never see me streaming or singing on stream. As I've said that many times, but yeah, it's one thing I said I would never do is sing on stream. Okay. So that was quick, actually. I wonder how difficult. I guess they get more and more difficult as the book goes through. So these first ones attacking the king are not going to be that tricky. Yeah, so that was just a mate in 3. I'll continue on. I'll add a new chapter here, chapter 11. Okay. So we'll go with the black pieces again first. What's going on? Why can't I? Dear Prudence doesn't work. So Belusira Closer to Me is not actually playing in my little player here. I don't know why. Yeah, sorry. It skipped past it. Unfortunately, Fonza. Alright, so I'm setting up this position. Well, this one also looks fairly simple. Yeah, I'm not sure, Fonza. It's either not allowed to be played in the USA or it's not allowed to be embedded into a separate web page. So if either one of those two things are controlled by the owner of the video, you know, if they have to control like which country it's in, or if they have to control like whether or not it's embeddable, then I'm not able to play it on stream. So yeah, I'm sorry, man. I wish there was a way for you to even test that, but there really isn't. Maybe try to find a different uploader of the same song and see if that works. Like a different URL from a different channel of the same song. Yeah, so I think this one's fairly straightforward. It looks like a mate in 3 to me. Yeah, I would like to hear it. I would like to hear it. So if you could find it on a different channel, maybe that would work. All right. So Mozart, I don't know if Naran Raymond is still here, but we're back to puzzle solving. So if any of you want to take a crack at this, Although I just realized there's a variation I hadn't considered. Hang on. I thought it was simple, but he doesn't actually have to take. Wait a minute. I have the position correct, yeah. Yeah, black has a lot of checks here, so, like, you gotta look at the checks first, really. So I was looking at rook h8 check first, and it's pretty simple. After king takes h8, there's queen h6 followed by mate, but after rook h8, there's king f7, and I don't see what to do after king f7 right now. Oh, king f7, there's queen d7 mate. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, Fonza, I saw that line. But yeah, queen d7 after king f7. Yeah. So here's the solution. So this is the one that jumped out at me at first, that I saw right away. But then I realized that he didn't have to take the rook. He goes here. But then it's just mate in 2. Oh, queen d7 is only check? Oh, king g6. All right. And then queen here is mate. Very nice. Very nice. For some reason, I thought queen d7 was mate. But yeah, the king has g6, and then this is mate. Quite nice. So you requested it again. So let's try it. I'm gonna skip to your song. What is going on? Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't like that either, Fonza. Boy. Yeah, it just kind of sticks there, and it doesn't do anything. Yeah, sorry, man. I'm not sure what to tell you. It's not Nightbot, it's Streamlabs Chatbot, and I think they both have the same issue with YouTube. Like, YouTube is just being stupid, like with copyright. So, like, they have to obey the laws in different countries, and I don't know. If I knew a way around it, I would use it. But yeah, YouTube will just flat out refuse to play certain videos depending on what country you live in. So yeah, if you wanted to test it out, you might. Well, it would be expensive. You'd have to get a VPN so that you could change your virtual location to the United States and then test videos from there, like in your own version of in your own Nightbot or whatever. That would be really difficult, though. I'm not going to ask you to do that, but you could just try to find more links. That's all I can really suggest to you, or a different song. Okay, yeah. So that was that one. So chapter 12. Let's keep going. Oh, your playlist. Yeah, I'm not able to do much with a playlist. It's the 7th song. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really have a way to play it that would work well for the stream, because I have to be careful. Like, I've got the sound set up so that my recording doesn't have the music for YouTube. So we'll have to try that song a different day. All right, so there's a black rook here and here. There's a black knight here. There's a white rook here and here, and a white knight here. The white king is here, and the black king is here. It's white to play. So again, black has a bunch of checks. So I'm looking at checks mostly to start out with. So rook h7 is kind of jumping out at me, because after king takes, there's a double check followed by mate, I believe. But if he doesn't take, what happens then? Oh, then the same knight f6. Yeah, that's mate. Ah, nice. So it's just rook h7. Yeah, Mozart found it just as fast as I did. Nice, man. Yeah, rook h7, and if king g8, there's another line there. Oh, hey, Fuxia, how's it going? Nice to see you here. So we're just looking at a bunch of puzzles today. I inputted a bunch of them before the stream started, and we already solved those. But now I'm doing them by hand, one at a time from this book. So some really nice positions. But yeah, Rook H7 looks like the solution here. So Rook H7, and if takes, there's here, and if King back or up, it doesn't matter. Rook H7 is mate. And if the king does not take the rook, you go here, the knight here, and then this is mate. Quite nice. Ah, Fuxia. Cool. So you saw my study already. Yeah, so I've been yeah, I like to create new studies occasionally for the stream. So here's this is what we're doing now. Okay, so I'll set up the new position. Chapter 13. Okay, let's empty the board. Queen here. Rook here and here. King here. Pawns there. I gotta say the printing on this book is not the highest quality, so sometimes it's difficult to understand what color a piece is or what piece. Sometimes like it's not simple. Right? Really? Oh, there's a knight. There's a knight here. Okay, this looks fairly straightforward as well. White to play. Oh, the knight's pinned. Oh, I thought it was easy, but the knight's pinned. Yeah, the knight is pinned to my king. I was just gonna go knight here, and after takes, deliver mate this way, but I can't because the rook is pinning the knight. Oh, but you could do the same thing. Oh, it's almost like a smothered thing. So I think I've already solved it. If someone else didn't see my little... Yeah, Mozart, you got it. Queen G8, Rook takes G8, Knight G6, H takes, and Rook H2. Very nice. Yeah, so my idea was similar. It's just I didn't do the right first move. Right, I wanted to do this with the queen guarding the square, but you don't have to have the queen guarding that square. You can just unpin with Queen G8. That's quite nice. Some beautiful puzzles. Beautiful puzzles. So far, these have been like mate and threes. Yeah, that is beautiful. Because you stacked like two pieces there in order to get the mate on the H file. Bowden. No, Bowden's mate is with the bishop crisscross, right? This is like a variation of like an Anastasia's mate. This is something like an Anastasia's mate where the queen was guarding the square, or the knight was guarding these two squares. This reminds me more of Anastasia. This is the Chris mate, the big brain mate. All right, so we'll move on. Go ahead and add number 14 in here. It's fun stuff. Sorry I didn't do more of these in advance, guys. I didn't realize we were going to get through all these so quickly. But yeah, for next stream, I'll put more of these in, so we won't have to go through watching me put these in by hand. That king here, pawn there. Yeah, Bowden's mate was with the two bishops crisscrossing each other at the enemy king's position. All right, there's another pawn here. There's a queen here. I think that's all the black pieces. All right, so the white pawns are here, here, and here. The white king is here. We have a rook here and a queen here. Yep, that looks right. Oh, but I've screwed it up. Shoot. Wait. I made it with black to move. Hang on. So it needs to be white to play here. But it needs to be like 14A or something. And then we'll delete the old 14. Okay. So white to play and mate. It doesn't say how many moves. So Fonza sees. Maybe Fonza, instead of giving the line, you saw it in a nanosecond. Oh, come on. How can you see it so fast? Oh, actually, I do see it now. Yeah, because you want the queen on f7. Then you can give mate on g7. I see it now. Yeah, rook takes h7, king takes f7, queen f7. Yep. Oh, I didn't look at king takes h6. King takes h6. What happens then? Oh, and then g5 mate. Beautiful. Yeah, it is forcing. Yeah, I just didn't look at rook h7 as a first candidate move. I was looking at other rook moves. And I was looking at queen a1 check as well. Queen a1 check. I was looking at. Yeah, that was really the only checks, and then rook h7 was next on the list, and that's what I yeah, rook h7, queen f7. But then for some reason I only looked at king h8. Yeah, king h6 is a possibility, and you have to see g5. That's nice. You take here, there, and there, and then if king back, obviously queen g7 is mate. Puzzles without a clear forcing move are the most difficult. Yeah, that's true, Fuxia. I think early in the book these are fairly easy, and then they move on. Like towards the end of the book, they get more difficult, I think. And the early ones were only difficult if you don't know that the first move is to sack the queen. But in fact, there's a bunch of you here that weren't here in the beginning of the stream. Let's go back to the beginning here. I'll show you guys this one. This one's quite nice. If you haven't seen this before, this is really nice. Yeah, Mozart, give me a link in the chat, or the Fen, like what's his name did earlier. But yeah, if anyone who wasn't here in the beginning of the stream wants to try to solve this, feel free. It's quite nice. Fonza, this will get you. Fonza, this one will be a little bit more difficult to solve, I think. Erica SP says queen e4. Okay, and there's 2 follow-ups that you got to see, right? Yeah, good Mozart. Queen e4 with knight d6 or rook e6. Nicely done. Yeah, the position after king takes and rook e6 was just amazing to me. Like to see that, it's just so beautiful with the rook and the knight giving checkmate. And then of course after the rook takes, it's nice also. Not quite as nice. Knight d6 is not quite as interesting as rook e6, but they're so really nice. It's an epaulette, so the rook capture is forced. The rook capture is forced. I mean, no, the king can take, right? Yeah, either way it's mate. Okay, so Mozart is giving me a Fen, so I will I'll take a look at that really quick. So we go to the analysis board. I'll show you guys how I do this. And all I got to do is copy and paste this Fen here and put it there. So just copy it down here and press tab or enter. Oh, this looks familiar. So it's white to play and win. So as I recall, so black has a funny like defense here, as I recall, that made this really difficult, involving a stalemate or something, like bringing the rook here, and then you can't queen, and you can't like even if you protect it, like bringing the rook here so that you can't take the rook. Something to do with that. In my opinion, is one of the best puzzles. A lot of themes for such little material. Yeah. So I remember some trick here with like rook d2 and then rook c2, or something to that effect. So it's white to move, right? Rook d6 is a... So, I mean, my first instinct is just to play c7, right? No, this is white to move and win. Somehow there's a way for white to win here. It looks like a draw, right? Because the rook should just be able to sack for the pawn. But... So if you play c7, the black king, the rook could go here, and if you make a queen, he goes here. I don't know. So c7, and then rook d6. What does rook d6 do? So c7, rook d6 check. So c7, rook d6, you can't go b7 because otherwise you pin the pawn and you get the draw. You can take the pawn the next move. c7, rook d6, you have to go like king here, king c5. Gogip says e7 wins. I'm not sure what e7 means. Rook d4, king b3. Whoa, all you guys are giving moves, not lines. So, all right. So you guys are giving lines and multiple lines in chat. Maybe give one chat with a bunch of lines, with a bunch of moves, because you guys are all mixing each other up. At least as far as me trying to follow you. So rook d4. So Fonza says he got it. Or Mozart says Fonza got it. So c7, and then rook d6. Why king b5 instead of c5? That's what I don't understand. Because c5... Black can't prevent the queening. Okay. King b5. This is the line you give. Then king b4. So but you're not giving any moves for black. Because you just said king b5, king b4, king c3. Like, what are you talking about? Someone give me a line in one thing of chat and not mixing a whole bunch of lines in a whole bunch of lines of chat. So you're saying king c5, rook d1, and then rook c1. Oh, right. Okay. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Thanks, Bertrout. So now here, you're saying rook d5, check. And I guess the point is you can never go to the c file because then this is going to be a problem forever. So you have to walk down this way. So rook b4, and then rook d4 check. So we're just going all the way to the bottom. Oh, I see. And then finally you can get to c2, so there's no more way around the pawn. Ah, so you go down here, and then finally you can get to c2 because there's no way around. And now rook d5. Oh, so rook d4, there's still another issue, right? Because if you make a queen, you can go rook here, check. And you can't take the rook. But someone was saying you make a rook here. Yeah, you promote to a rook, right? Yeah, because otherwise there's this issue with the queen. So you go here, and now you can safely take. Because otherwise the queen was guarding here. Why did he time you out? Oh, right, because of... Okay, Fonza, yeah, be careful with the... Yeah, be careful with the all caps. After promote to a rook, it's rook a4. And then king b3. Oh, wow. Yeah, because the material is equal, right? So you would think... Yeah, so the only issue is that the king's in the corner here. So yeah, then king b3. Wow. Yeah, Bertrand, that's really interesting, this position. I mean, I've seen this before. I don't remember ever solving this by myself. I might have seen it in some video lecture. But yeah, it's a nice position to know, that's for sure. And I guess kind of the point, you don't want to go all the way down here to begin with, because once you make a queen, you just win the rook with some checks. So you can't just go like down this way. And you can't go up here because of the pin. And you can't go here because of this issue. Yeah, that's quite nice actually. And you have to promote, I mean, you literally have to promote to a rook here. Because otherwise this check, I mean, this check would be devastating if you had a queen. And the only way to defend against this mate is rook a4. You go king b3 to defend this mate, or threaten this mate, and that one can't be defended. You're threatening to take the rook and give checkmate. No defense. Quite nice. Quite nice. All right, thanks for that. Boop boop ba-doo. All right, so let's I don't know. Someone want to play a game or something like that? I got a notification here. Okay. What if rook a3 check? Now rook a3 you just take it, and then you just got to play a waiting move before checkmating. Yeah, it's not stalemate, Gargut. All right. All right, so maybe we continue with these puzzles again. All right. So let's go back to my study. So go to my studies and imagination. All right, so we've done 14. Let's start with 15 now. Actually, we were looking at some of the earlier ones. So we finished this one. All right, so if you were here earlier and you saw this, don't say anything. Otherwise, feel free to solve it if you weren't here when we saw this earlier. Fonza Curry beat a Grandmaster. Morphe, what? I'll have to take a look at that later, Fonza. Let's look at this puzzle right now. You already solved it? Or have you seen this before? No. Now, bishop e6 is not right. Bishop e6 is not a thing. What are you talking about? e6 is here. Or you mean d3? Yeah, that's not right. Fonza was wrong for once in his life. For the first time ever, I think. He was wrong. So one of the hints I gave the viewers the first time along is it was kind of nice how the king and the knight do such a good job of controlling the dark squares around here. So it's up to the queen and the bishop to take care of all the light squares. It's not the easiest puzzle in the world, but it's a really nice one. Eric ASP might have the answer. Do you see it? Eric Asp? Okay, but after queen d5, the king doesn't have to take, right? So you have to give a mate in the other line? So Gugup is saying queen c2. Yeah, queen c2, and the king can go down to f3. Running away. Bonza says, what is the purpose of the pawn on b3? Usually in all studies, all pieces have some function. Yeah, there is a function. The pawn on b3 is there for a reason. Yeah, I mean, the purpose of the pawn is to guard this square. Yeah. So Eric ASP, I think you got it. Fonza, did you follow Eric's line? No. No, Eric ASP's forcing line with queen d5 is actually correct. Eric ASP, no, it's not John Brown. This is C.D. Lecoq called Imagination in Chess. This is the book. I don't know if you guys can read that, but yeah, I got this book for Christmas, and I've been having so much fun with it. I thought I'd share this with you guys. Yeah, the solution is queen d5 check. Charlie Brown book. Yeah. So you take here, and then bishop here is mate. Or if king goes here, then bishop here is mate, because the pawn's pinned. And it's nice to know. It's nice to know the difference between this check, right? This check almost does the same thing because it forces the king here, but after this here, we have this move, right? But with the queen on d5, the pawn's pinned, so it doesn't work. So queen c5 is the answer. Or sorry, queen d5, not queen c6, because now the pawn's pinned. And if it takes, there's this mate, which is really beautiful, because the pawn's got the square, the knight's got these. The pawn has the square, the knight has these two, the bishop has these three, and the king has this one. Super. I'm going to use this next time when I come in this position. Yeah, and we had this discussion earlier, right? The point is not to have like. It's not so much that this is like a common position that you're going to find. It's not like that. It's the fact that you need to visualize. You're learning to visualize, the pieces working together, controlling the squares independently, looking at all these squares the way, they're all working together. That's why this has value. It's not because this is a practical position that you need to memorize. It's just that you're learning to use the pieces together in this way. Anyway. Yeah. So the first 6 were all queen sacrifices to start out with. This was also another queen sacrifice, which was quite beautiful. But there's 2 different ways to reject the sacrifice that you also have to calculate. So this is kind of nice. So Fuxia has Svidler Anand. Svidler agreed to a draw, and he was wrong because Oh, so you want us to solve a position that Svidler didn't solve over the board? When I'm solving studies, the purpose is to feed my ego. Oh boy, Fonza. I'm not sure your ego needs feeding. More likely your ego needs starving rather than feeding. Yeah. So there's a nice way to stack the queen and get mate here. And if he doesn't take the queen, there's two ways that you have to mate. If they don't take the queen here as well, which is really kind of nice. So Fuxia, the way you presented that puzzle makes me really nervous, right? Because Svidler's really good. No, I like to drink even when someone doesn't tell me to, right? I mean, it's my water. I'll drink when I want it. All right, hang on. The Fonza mate. Let me check this out on a different browser. Just in case people are solving this. Oh. Looks like he made one really big blunder in the middle of this game. Or towards the end. But okay, let's see the mate in the final position. Oh, that's nice actually. The two rooks. You don't see that very often. Fuxia says this puzzle is about king activity. Are you talking about the puzzle you linked to, Fuxia? Maybe I should say Fuchsia. Should I pronounce your name Fuchsia or Fuxia? Because as I recall, I looked up your name and it means like fuchsia, like the German word for fuchsia in English. Like fuchsia is the English word. They mean the same thing. Okay, you want me to pronounce it the German way? Okay, Fuchsia. All right. My name sounds like some flower. Fonza curry. Is curry a flower? I think curry is like a type of food, right? I don't know that. Anyway, so Fuchsia. All right. So not Fuxia, Fuchsia. Got it. Got it. All right. So is anyone solving this one, or do you want me to look at something else? I'll take a look at Fuxia's next. Wow. 2 pawns for a knight. Queen e6 takes knight g7. Knight g7 allows the king to run away this way. So it's a good idea, Gagap. Queen here takes, and knight g7, it almost works, but the king has these squares to run away to. What's the purpose of the h4 pawn? Yeah, so it has a purpose in one line. There's a point to that h4 pawn. It's because it's controlling the square. You have to control that square in a certain line. Queen takes d4, king e6, knight g7. Oh, king e6. Wait, no, king e6 is not... Queen Oh, I see what you're saying. Queen takes d4, knight g7. Yeah, unfortunately there's king c7 in that line. Or king f7. Not quite. Not quite, Guggup. Or not quite, Eric. Eric Asp. So that means the king goes to f6. Yeah, at some point the king does go to f6, Kanza. In one of the sidelines. Yeah, you're right. The waiting move, king b7. Not sure about that one. Now this is all forcing. Ah, Fuchsia, you've got the main line. Yeah, queen d5, king takes d5, knight e3. Unfortunately, black doesn't have to take the queen. So knight e3 is mate. Oh, sorry, knight d3 is mate, right? It's knight d6, knight e3. So we're looking at this from white's perspective. So this is d6. Or were you saying e3, like knight to e3? That's almost right, but the king has this square. Yeah, it's actually knight here. So queen d5, king here, knight here. Eric Asp was going to cheat and grab your tiny analysis set. Uh-oh. You're cheating yourself, really. You're not cheating anything. Yeah, knight e3 doesn't work. You have to go to d6, actually, to give mate in that line. T takes e3 is irrelevant, right? Because the king's in check. But yeah, that's not the point. I mean, the point is that the king can run away to e4. That's funny. I know Fonza was knew about that, but yeah. So one of the lines is queen d5, king takes, and knight d6 is mate. Okay, but you have to look at both of the situations where, because the king can run into two other ways as well. So there's mate in both of these lines that you have to find as well. Okay, so Eric Asp was talking about this line where you go here, and then knight h6. Yeah, at this point the king is running away this way. With knight h6, the king is going up to e7. It is a mate in two puzzle. The mate in two in all variations. If king f4, queen f3, f4, queen f3. No, because the king just goes back here. That's close. Queen here, there. The king just goes back. Yeah, queen takes d4 is mate in that line, Fuchsia. Yeah. So the idea is queen d5, king here, queen here is mate. So yeah. So you notice that the pawn and the rook are both holding this line. So the other line is where so the only thing we haven't solved yet is queen here, king here. Because there's only 3 legal moves after the queen check. So Guggup says knight d4, it has to be. So knight d4, the king is going to run away this way. So knight d4, and you're running away this way. And if king f6, rook h6, yes. So Fuchsia, you've got the whole solution now. So I don't know if Fonza or any of you else were following that, but yeah. So queen here. The main line is after takes, knight here is mate. Okay, so we'll go back to the check. it's nice to appreciate this, to sit here and understand, you know, what each piece is contributing here. And then after the queen check, the king also has two other options. There's mate and one from these as well. So if the king goes to f6, you give rook check, and this is why the pawn is here. So the pawn is here for that reason. So that rook h6 would be mate. And if the king goes down to f4 instead, then taking this pawn is mate. Just a beautiful, beautiful position. And it's nice because this pawn is actually needed to be here for the main line, right? Because otherwise the king would just run this way. So this pawn was necessary to be here as well. Really beautiful puzzle. I think, you know, I've been solving a lot of these practical puzzles where it's just like attacking a castled king and stuff like that. And those are really useful and like, but they start to feel like work. This feels more like art, like I'm painting a picture. Like this is really amazing. Like learning to visualize the way all the pieces are controlling the squares around the king independently of one another as a unit, you know, like they're all working together in harmony, in concert. It's a really beautiful thing. Yeah, so the reveal checks, yeah. So yeah, the rook discovery is tempting. And it is the solution in one line, right? When it goes here, the rook check is the mate. But the king has to be on the right square for it to be mate. So you have to draw the king this way, and then it's mate. Yeah, I assume you were talking about like moving the knight here to begin with. But the king just you know, just escapes. And I thought this was quite nice here because the queen is working together with the knight to cover this rank, right? The knight's got these two squares, and the queen's got this one. So the king has no escape. It's almost like the bishop and knight mate, where the bishop and knight work together to control the three squares next to the king. Like the knight will control like these two squares, while the bishop will control the middle one from far away. It's pretty. All right. So now I'm going to completely change everything. I'm actually in the mood to play a game now. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to just late join one of the tournaments that's going on. I'm sure there's a 10-minute tournament that I can join. Yeah, under 2000 rapid. I'll just play one of these. I'll just play one game in the last round of this. Kind of science fiction. All right, Fonzo, what are you linking me to here? Hang on. I'll pull this up. Am I getting a game here? Science fiction. I don't really understand. German 11 is science fiction? The most active player on Lichess. Oh, really? Holy crap. Over 300,000 games? Almost 300,000 games. Jeez. That's nuts. All right, let's go ahead and play. Play a 10-minute game. It's my opponent's move. Adoniadan? Adoniadan. Adoniadan. Yeah, the first Adonai, that's one of the Hebrew names for God. And then Adan. Adoniadan. That's how I'm saying his name. All right, c3 is a weird move to start out the game with. I'll go ahead and play d5. Yeah, German 11, I actually haven't seen that account before. That's a crazy number of games. Like, just today, he's already played 18 tournaments. I mean, is this a bot? it's nuts. What is his rating? Oh, his ratings aren't even all that high. He just plays a ton of chess. Wow. Yeah, it doesn't improve much, but he's playing like a ton. Yeah, like playing Bliss doesn't actually help you improve, right? This is common knowledge, I think. So now he's played c4. So like I'm up a tempo in the Semislav here. What in the world? So he's played c3, then c4, and now I have an extra move in the Semislav. This can't be good for white. Yeah, I can actually just take here. Wow, what has he done for me here? This is quite amazing. I'm tempted to take. I could also play knight bd7. Yeah, Fuxia, he's probably playing too much to analyze his games. He's got to play more and more and more and more. He can't keep up. Okay, so now I'm tempted by b4 here, just to be able to play pawn c3 with. So I go b4. What does he do with his knight? He can't take my pawn, so I can play c3. This seems good. Wow. Okay, now I can play c3. It's like everything I ever wanted out of the opening. Fuxia says you invented a new opening. Wow. Currently creating the theory. I'm interested to see that. Interested to see that. All right. So I'm going to castle. That's what good chess players do. The B. All right, what do I do here? I'd like to improve my rooks. I'd like to renew my pawn on my threat on this pawn, but I don't see how I'm doing that exactly. Actually, I can just go knight here, right? Because I can take the queen. Let's do that. This pen didn't mean much because I'm attacking his queen. I didn't really calculate what I would do after he moves his queen. What do I do then? Maybe I'm just losing. I can take his bishop probably with my queen. That looks good. All right, let's check out this link from Fuxia. I named this opening after the signature move to b3, the B, because b3. Got it? All right, so he's resigned. Back to tournament. He lost a pawn and he resigned. That's kind of funny. All right, maybe I can get one more game in. That one was a pretty quick win. So e4, e5, b3. Chess engines don't like it because their evaluation playing the B is almost cheating because it's too good. In fact, you don't even need an engine for this. I like your commentary, Fuxia. That's hilarious. Nice. I'll have to check that out more later. All right, so it's my move. I'm playing another 1600 player. Hopefully he plays a little bit better than the last guy. All right, so d6. That looks like it could be a King's Indian. So I'll play what I play against a King's Indian or modern, whatever, with b6. Sorry, g6. Yeah. So he's playing a King's Indian. I could have played e4 instead of c4, going into like a modern Pirtz. But yeah, I like the King's Indian, so I don't mind playing against this at all. So I've played this ending quite a lot, actually, because this is like the forcing line that I play against the King's Indian. It's not quite as good when they wait until after they play their knight here or here. Like he played e5 after his knight was already here. So when they do that move order, it's not quite as good the way I play. But this is still what I'd like to think is annoying for black to deal with. So now knight here looks good. Because you can't really do anything about this. He has to take this off. Yeah. So now I get the strong pawn center. And it's mostly about having the two bishops now. All right, so I should deal with this somehow. F3 blocks my bishop. I could move my bishop either way. This way, it's kind of passive. I could take the knight off, and then play like an opposite color bishop's middle game. I mean ending really. What else could I do? I think just F3. I have ideas of my bishop being active over here somehow. Blocking this bishop on the king side is not the end of the world. I'll take over the c file soon. All right, start with this rook. See, this bishop move here is tempting, but it just forces his rook to a better square, so it's probably not ideal. Although bishop here would make this a threat. Let's try that. Gets the bishop outside the pawn chain. E4 and F4 Austrian attack. Very nice against the Pirc. That's nice. Yeah, I don't actually start with E4. I start with D4, right? But maybe maybe you're saying E4 and then I play F4 after that, like F4 or D4, E4, F4. Yeah. So he saw that. So, but now doesn't this trap the bishop? Or sorry, this traps the rook now. Like his rook is dead after this move, I think. Yeah, he just loses his rook now. The power of the two bishops on display. So he has his choice up to which bishop to take. He takes the good bishop, so that's actually the right decision. So I'm going to move my bishop back now. Try to guard against the open file second rank. I don't know his rook entering here in the future. So, okay. So I'm guessing he wants to put his knight here to challenge my bishop. I'm not too worried about that. I think the knight gets trapped there if I play b3. So I play bishop back to here and then knight and rook here, for example, if he goes to b2. So knight c5 is also a decent answer. I'm not really too attached to the bishop, but I don't want to spend a move defending him either. The rook isn't much better on d1 than it is on f1. So I think I'll move the bishop. Bishop here is fine. So I still want to play like rook c1, and then maybe I need b5 to kick the knight away. Although if he plays b5 himself, sorry, if he plays b4 himself, I'm kind of in trouble. So I'll go ahead and play b4 now. Then he gets knight here. Can I get away with a4 now? I mean, if he puts his pawns on dark squares, I have more freedom for my bishop. So I could put my bishop on like c6, for example. A4 takes. Yeah, I've got some pressure there, I think. Oh, what am I doing? He can just take here. Whoops. Fuchsia, if you just do exclam wrong song, it'll delete that for you. Just exclam wrong song. So now I'm noticing that he might actually be able to hold the draw here because this knight can't be really removed easily. But I think maybe at some point I can sack the exchange back and win a pawn and be fine in that position. I just double up my rooks here and win the pawn. Win the pawn on c5. It's, yeah, wrong song, all one word. Sorry. Oh, well now you've, okay, now I have to delete it manually because you've already done the second one. All right, let me, 9-inch nails, I'll delete this one. There we go. His minor pieces are kind of annoying right now. I'll give him that. So if I sack the exchange and go here, I don't think he can defend that pawn. And then I'll just be a pawn up. But is that worth it? Am I winning that? I think I am. I'm not sure. My bishop is terrible. Like it's literally the worst piece. Let's start with this. See what happens. Let's push his king back. Now I think I'm ready to do this. Because he can't defend this pawn. Oh, actually he has king here. Whoops. Okay, I'll stop that. Oh no, what have I done? Because king here, there. I can't play pawn forward because this pawn falls. Shoot. Oh, I've just messed this up. Just totally messed this up. Okay. So maybe bishop here and then pawn here. And the rook comes around this way. No, I'm just giving away this pawn. But then my rook comes alive. I don't even know. I feel like I'm fighting for a draw now. His knight is so much better than my bishop. Yeah, I've completely misplayed this. That's some tense music. Is this your request, Fuchsia? Yeah, it is. So the Quake 1, like the old video game? Wow. The Quake 1 music. That's kind of cool. Oh wow, so I take this pawn now? That was nice of him. He didn't have to allow me to take that pawn. But I guess he figures he has this queen. I'm gonna get my bishop here to stop his rook from supporting that pawn. My king should be able to stop it. And then I have my own pass pawn now. This is a new plan. He's got two pass pawns, but they're kind of hard to push. Whoa, that's a free knight. What are you doing, dude? That was crazy. So if I go here, the bishop can take, and then the bishop steps back just in time. After the trade, I mean, I can take back with the bishop. He goes here, and then bishop back here to stop the pawn. His king can't really participate with these pawns because he has to keep an eye on this pass pawn. Yeah, I've got this one now. The extra piece. Alright, take the pawn. Yeah, this is good concentration music. I like that, Fuxia. Alright, it's not going to make this easy, is he? So I'll go rook back here to avoid him, like entering. I don't want him, you know, creating issues over here, so I'd rather trade it off. So now king here. Yeah, this is the issue with both of these pawns, actually. Let's give check. Get my rook active. And I can start pushing here. My pawn should become more of a nuisance than his pretty soon. King d2 was a mistake. That's possible. That is possible. If I push forward... Actually, bishop here seems nice. I don't know. He goes king here, and I have this move, attacking the rook. Maybe he gives check, I go up. Gives another check, I go up. Yeah, I'll see what he does. Let's try this out. Bishop here, I'm threatening this, and the rook. And my king can run forward just to avoid the checks from the rook. Now I'm going to make a queen. It's very like anti-harmonic, this music. Like it's rhythmic and interesting, but like there's no harmony whatsoever, which I find fascinating, actually. There's almost no melody either. It's just like a series of like almost like a percussion ensemble type music. All right, so he's resigned. GG. All right. Well, guys, let's find someone to raid. I feel the stream winding down. So who is live that I can raid? I don't see anyone that I'm following. Maybe we can find someone new in the chess stream. There's some chess.com stuff, but okay, there's this guy King's Bishop. Scholastic Supergroup Championship. All right, so it looks like this is good. It's doing some kind of tournament analysis. Let's go ahead and rate him. Well, maybe not. Actually, he's chess.com as well. I don't have anything against chess.com, but I'd like to support Lichess streamers if I can. Cold Player. Oh, Christmas Eve at lichess.org. There we go. So, good suggestion. Good suggestion, folks. Yeah. All right. So let me figure out. I have to go back to my need to go back to my dashboard, I think. There we go. His full name was Cold Player 1992. All right. So enjoy his stream, guys. We'll see you guys next time. I'm actually not streaming tomorrow, unfortunately. Normally I'm at Monday and Tuesday, but tomorrow's Christmas. So I'm going to spend the whole day with my family. So you guys will see me again next week. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time. See you next week.